It's a real pleasure to be able to talk with Erin Gordon. Erin, good afternoon. It's fantastic to have you with us, and I'm glad that you're willing to have this conversation with me. Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Erin. I come to Elim Church. I've been coming for about 4 or 5 years now. I came because my brother had started coming, Andrew, and his wife Alex, and I'd stopped attending the church that I was going to previously because I ran all the youth group stuff and things went a little bit wrong in my personal life, so I split up with my husband, and I just wanted a fresh start somewhere new where people didn't necessarily know me and everything that had gone on straight away. I just wanted to start fresh. So I have 2 children, Abby and Joe, and I work for the speech and language therapy team in Manchester. Do lots of home visits. I work mainly with children with autism and Down syndrome. I've been doing counselling at evening schools, so I've just completed my level 3 counselling certificate, and in my spare time I go to lots of concerts and I collect records. I love music.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, the reason we're having this conversation today is your own fault. Because on Sunday, when I was preaching, so we're doing this recording in August, though I'll probably go out in September, but I was preaching on Sunday about healing, and you sent me a brilliant text. It's the sort of text that preachers love to get at the end, to say, actually, it reminded you of times where you feel like you've been healed or you've seen God work in remarkable ways. And it was kind of like an intriguing text because that's kind of how it finished. You didn't give me all the details in the text. So I couldn't miss the opportunity to say, so tell us more about your experience really of God doing remarkable things in you and in your life.
Remarkable things have happened to me in my life quite a lot of times, and it's really nice to remember that because I'm the sort of person that is a bit like, oh, what's happening next? Oh, this is ridiculous. Not necessarily pessimistic or down in the dumps about things, but just like, oh, this is a ridiculous thing that's happened again, and oh, this is ridiculous. So yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. But yeah, it really made me think after the sermon, or during the sermon actually, about the blessings that I've had in my health. And I just text Neil because I'd forgotten to let him know that he was praying for me a couple of weeks ago as part of like praying for so many people each week, I think, through church. I was one of the chosen ones a couple of weeks ago, and it just so happened I was having a lump removed from my foot. And I've had previous surgery, lots of previous surgery in my life, and I'd had the letter to say that I was given the all clear. And you'd said in the sermon, like, has anyone been prayed for and been healed? And it suddenly made me think, I have, and I haven't told you.
But that's not I mean, that's brilliant to hear, and and it's a privilege to be part of that. But you also, in your text, you said that the doctors had said that the birth of your 2 children had been miraculous. Do you want to tell us about that?
So I started having problems with my health when I was around 13. I had some gynae problems resulting in, I've had a couple of times where I've had emergency surgery, so I was rushed into hospital, been, touch and go a couple of times, quite dramatic. And then when I was 19 and one of these surgeries happened, the result was that I wasn't able to have children, which I found really frustrating. I was 19, so you'd think, oh, you're not really thinking at that age what's going to happen. I was in the middle of university, just loving everything that meant. But I thought something's gone wrong here because I just felt like I was supposed to be a parent quite strongly from being young. I used to babysit all my brother's friends because my brother's 7 years younger than me, and there's a lot of people on our street, and I babysat them all and really put a lot of time in. I helped out at Sunday school, I helped out with the rainbow guides. I just really loved children and felt like I had skills in that area. So when I was 19, I was like, well, what's that? What does that mean? What's that, message about? What am I supposed to do about that? And then when I was 24, I found out that I was pregnant. I was 4 months pregnant when I found out. And that was a really big shock. I was quite ill after the birth of my daughter, quite ill for a long time. But I just enjoyed being a mum so much. It was just the best. It is the best thing that's ever happened to me. It really is.
So when Abby was born, when your daughter was born, there was that sense of, well, that is remarkable, but that is kind of like unusually remarkable because of all that you'd been through. So when you were then pregnant a second time, what? How did the medical authorities? What did the doctors say to you?
That was even more surprising, really, because after Abby had been born, I'd had lots of tests. I'd had further surgery. I didn't have fallopian tubes, so it's absolutely ridiculous. Myself and my ex-husband, we'd decided we wanted another child, and because I still had a womb, then IVF was a possibility at that point. I didn't mean to do this when I said womb.
It's okay, but graphics help. Thank you.
We started IVF. We started looking into it, and we'd saved up some money, but very quickly it became all-consuming. And at the same time, we'd got this beautiful girl that we just thought, why don't we just enjoy what we've been given here, and let's go on holiday and just have a great time, which is what we did. We gave up on the IVF idea and decided, let's just enjoy what we've got and be grateful for what we've been given, which we really were. But after this holiday that we went to Australia, it was absolutely fantastic. When we came back, I found out I was pregnant with my son. But because of all the complications with me, the doctor decided they were going to do. They weren't just going to take the test that I'd done as given. They did a blood test. I had to wait a week for the results of this blood test. And in that time, I was worried, what if it's another growth? What if there's more going on? But I got a phone call when I'd gone to collect my daughter from school. She was at primary school, and I was in the playground waiting, and the doctor phoned me. And I answered the phone, and he said, the results are, you are pregnant again. And I was like, I don't understand. Just standing in the playground shouting on my phone, like, I don't understand, how's this happened? And the doctor said, we don't know how it's happened, but it has happened. It's a miracle, which I found really strange for a doctor to say. I wasn't expecting my doctor to say it's a miracle. Accept it. I do accept it's a miracle, but it was amazing to hear the doctor say that.
How do you think, going through all of those things and those remarkable things happening to you, how has that shaped your understanding of God or faith for you?
It's funny, because I have lots and lots of questions. I've had, like I was saying before, I enjoyed university. I went to university, and my faith stayed, I wouldn't say my faith stayed at home, but my religious life stayed at home. Mm-hmm. So I go to university and find the church, Christian Union, find the church group. I went to university and just had a great time. Sunday mornings were staying in bed. I came home, picked up the church again, went to camp, but I've never ever lost the faith. So in really dark times, or really times when I've really struggled, I've always felt God's peace, and I've always known it's God's peace. I've never pushed God away. For a couple of years at university, I didn't live out my life in terms of going to church, but I was a Christian that whole time. And I feel like it's difficult to explain. I think, because I don't tend to put things into words or talk to people very much. But in my hardest times, I felt really close to God. I felt at peace through my illnesses. I felt God's peace. I felt prayed for. I, I felt God was there. I've never felt like I've been dealing with something on my own. I've always felt God's there. And I think the one time when I was questioning what is going on for me, what does God mean through this, would be in my divorce or after my divorce. And my mum said to me, I was like, Mum, I'm struggling with knowing what this all means for me with my life, and what God means with this. And my mum said, just keep going, keep doing what you've always done, keep reading the Bible, keep going to church, just keep going, and you'll find it again. And she's like, fake it until you make it, just keep going through the routines. And I was doing it. I was going to church and I wasn't able to sing the songs. I was reading the Bible and I wasn't feeling it. And I kept going and that came back. But I think I've always felt God with me.
You talk about being surrounded by people who've prayed for you, and in a sense that the presence of God being almost mediated through other people, that other people have been the sort of the visual reminders of the presence of God. And that's quite a powerful picture. Is that how, I mean, am I putting words into your mouth at this point, or is that how it actually has felt?
That's always how it's felt. Really believe in the power of prayer. I've seen it. And I think I was mentioning to you before about how growing up in a Christian family, growing up always going to church, one of the fantastic things I think about church is that you meet people from all walks of life, all different ages, and they all care for you. You don't often in life have a chat with somebody who's 80 and have a chat with them and find out what they're doing in life, and they want to know what you're doing in life. That's, unless it's a family member, that's quite rare. But in churches, you meet all these people of different ages, and they all care for you. They're all from different backgrounds, and they care for you, and they pray for you. And I think that's the most that anyone can do for you, really, isn't it? That's why I feel like the strongest thing that somebody can do to show that they care for you is to pray for you. And that's something special for me. That's I like to do that for somebody else, and I like to be prayed for.
I think it's brilliant. I think the fact that you can tell these stories of times where God has done miraculous stuff. I mean, I was appreciative of the fact that you drew a little picture for us of a womb. I need things like that because I am, biology is not my thing. But I kind of know that if you've not got fallopian tubes, that's a little bit of an obstruction to getting pregnant. And yet you were, and you have 2 healthy children. I think that picture of being part of a community of people who support through prayer is really important. And I think the third thing I'd want to say is that I really value you talking about is the fact that there are other times where there are the dark days, the days when you just don't understand. And this whole healing thing, the God of miracles, it raises both hope and question. And we live with both. And in a sense, being part of a praying community allows us to be both hopeful people and questioning people. Why is it not working like this? As you have testified about your own life, and it's powerful to have someone like yourself come along and go, do you know what? I can tell you about times where God has worked remarkably, and He's been with me in the darkest days. Mm. It's a very, very precious gift to have people like you willing to say things like that. So thank you. I know that being upfront and doing all this is not necessarily always your natural position, but really appreciate the chance to chat to you and just hear a little bit of your story, Erin, and to hear that recommitment both to be prayed for and to pray for others as we grow this community of Jesus followers. Thanks ever so much. Appreciate your time.